Hello students, welcome to economics classes. In our previous class, we have discussed about the ex ante aggregate demand and ex ante aggregate supply, or the concepts of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. You remember that we shall confine our study towards the two sector economic model only, where there are only two sectors, that is households and firm sector. So in that model, AD is equal to C plus I. This we have discussed in our previous class. Now the point arises that where will be the equilibrium level of income and output. Please remember that we are dealing with the short run equilibrium level of income and output, because John Maynard Keynes has given the equilibrium which is applicable in the short run. So here we are dealing short run equilibrium level of income and output. So the point where the ex ante aggregate demand will becomes equals to ex ante aggregate supply. So equilibrium level in the economy means two sector economy. Equilibrium level in the economy will be on such a point where aggregate demand will equal to aggregate supply. When we are talking aggregate demand, it means the ex ante aggregate demand, or which is the planned expenditure, planned aggregate demand in the economy. So when this AD will become equal to AS, at that point of time the economy will be in equilibrium. This is the equilibrium condition. You must remember that in two sector economy, where there are only two sectors, that is household and firm sector, the income, output and employment move in the same direction. What does it mean? It means that if there will be a change in the output level, the income will also be changed, the employment will also be changed. If the output will increase, the income will increase, and consequently the employment level will also be increased. If the output will decrease, the income will decrease and there will be less level of employment. So economy has the tendency for adjusting itself. In two sector economic model, it is presumes that there is an extra efficiency in the economy, because John Maynard Keynes was dealing with the aftermath of Great Depression. Great Depression, which occurred in the 1929, and the half of the world was struck from it. So he was dealing with the consequences of those economies where there was less employment level. There was a huge level of unemployment. So that is why it is presumed that the economy has extra capacity. So that is why if we increase the level of output, the employment will also be increased and the income will also be increased till the full employment will reach. Now we see the adjustment mechanisms. First, you can pause the video and write it down. Then I will explain the adjustment mechanisms. So here adjustment mechanisms are there. How the economy adjusts itself. When ex ante aggregate demand or planned expenditure becomes unequal with the ex ante aggregate supply, then the output tends to increase or decrease till the level of equality achieved. So this is this can be happen in two ways. The first condition may be when AD is greater than Y. Here Y is the AS, aggregate supply. We have discussed in our previous classes that AS is equal to Y, which is equal to C plus S. This you have studied. Aggregate supply is the level of income, or income will either be consumed or saved. So when AD is greater than Y, then what will happen? What will happen in this situation? It means the consumers are planning to buy more than the producers are planning to produce. In that situation only AD will become greater than Y. Y means income or aggregate supply. So here the consumers are planning to buy more than the producers are planning to produce. Then what will happen in this situation? There will be a shortage in the inventory of the firms. So there will be unplanned decumulation in the inventory stock or the shortage of inventory. So what the producers will do? They will plan to produce more output. When they will plan to produce more output, then there will be more income generated, more employment as well. As I have told you that income, output and employment, they move together in the same direction. So there will be more availability of production, and it will goes on increases till the equality will again achieved. Means it will increase up to that level where it becomes again AD is equal to Y, which is the necessary condition for equilibrium. Condition for equilibrium. This can be the first case where the equilibrium will not be there, and how it will achieve I have mentioned over here. Now what will be the second condition? The second condition may be like this: when AD is less than Y. Now what will be the case over here? What does it means? It means the consumers are planning to buy less than the producers are planning to produce. So what will happen? Production will be more than its demand. So what will happen? There will be unplanned accumulation in the inventory stock, in the inventory of the firms. So the inventory will piling up, the unsold stock will piling up. So what will happen? The producers will cut their supply, or they will cut their production till these two will becomes equals again. Hence the condition is proved that this is the required condition for the economy to be in equilibrium. This is the mechanisms related with AD-AS approach. This we are discussing what is called as AD-AS approach, or consumption plus investment approach. This is what we have discussed over here. The second approach is saving and investment approach. saving and investment approach. Saving and investment approach. In first part we have discussed the AD and AS approach, that is aggregate demand and aggregate supply approach, and now we will be discussing savings and investment approach. First you pause the videos and note the important points, then I will explain this savings and investment approach. So here now we are discussing the savings and investment approach. We know that the equilibrium condition is when we were discussing AD and AS approach is AD is equal to AS and AS is equal to C plus S, because the whole income will either be consumed or saved, which is again equal to Y. So when we put together in the first equation, then we get AD, we know that C plus I, and AS is equal to C plus S. So here C and C is common, so we can write over here where S is equal to Y, that will be the equilibrium condition, where S will become equal to I, or savings will becomes equals to investment. This is the another way or another approach by which we can explain the determination of short run equilibrium of income and output. Now we are dealing adjustment mechanisms, saving and investment approach. What will be the first case? The first case will be when S will be greater than I. Then what will happen? When S is greater than I, this situation is quite similar when AD is less than Y. This is the situation where S is greater than I. What will happen? It is the situation where household or the consumers are planning to buy less than the producers are planning to produce. So what will happen? There will be the unplanned accumulation in the inventory of the firms, or the stock, unsold stock will be piling up. So what will happen? The producers will cut their supply, they will cut their production till these two will becomes equals again. And what will be the next case? The next case will be when S is less than I. What will be the situation? When AD is greater than Y. This we have discussed while we were dealing with aggregate demand and aggregate supply approach. So here will be the same phenomena. When S is less than I means the buyers or the consumers are planning to buy more than the producers are planning to produce. So what will happen in that case? In that case there will be the unplanned accumulation in the inventory. Here unplanned accumulation in inventory will take place. So what will happen? The producers will produce more to fulfill the excess desire or excess demand for the consumers. So they will start their output increasing till these two will becomes equals again. Hence this is the required condition for getting an equilibrium, that S will be equal to I. This is the necessary condition for obtaining an equilibrium in the economy under the short run. Condition for equilibrium, when savings will equal to investment. Now we can understand these two phenomena graphically. First, you can pause the videos to write it down. Here is the diagrammatic presentation of AD and AS approach. As you see in the diagram, that on OX axis we measure the income and output, and on OY axis we measure X ante aggregate demand and X ante aggregate supply. You see the 45-degree line denotes here the income line Y, or it is AS or C plus S, whatever you can see. So this is income line 45-degree, and this one is C bar. C denotes the consumption curve. This you know already, and this A bar and AD denotes the aggregate demand curve. Why it is A bar? We have discussed in the previous class. This A bar means it contains the two components C bar plus I bar. These together will be termed as A bar or autonomous expenditure. So the gap between A bar and C bar is the I bar or the autonomous investment, because in our case of study we have assumed that investment is autonomous because it is independent with the level of income. So the point where aggregate demand curve intersect the aggregate supply, this is the point. Suppose we give the name E over here and this is M. So the point E is the equilibrium point where X ante aggregate demand equals to X ante aggregate supply. Hence the condition fulfilled. Here AD is equal to AS. So this is the equilibrium point. Equilibrium point is E, where AD is equal to AS and OM level of income or output is the equilibrium level of income and output. This is how we can represent the determination of equilibrium level of income and output via graphical, or this is how we can explain this graphically or diagrammatically. Now we can also explain the savings and investment approach with the help of a diagram. Here I am making a diagram to show the saving and investment approach. We know that investment curve is horizontally parallel straight line towards the OX axis. This is investment curve, and while we were discussing the derivation of savings curve, we have discussed that at first, when the point where investment starts or the point where the autonomous consumption is there, this is the level of dis-saving. So from that point we will start the saving curve from the OY prime. So because at first the saving will be in negative up to that level where the consumption is greater than income. Up to that level the savings will become in negative form. Here savings become zero. It is the point, or which is known as break-even point, where consumption is equal to income. There is no saving, and after that the income is becoming the greater than the consumption. The point where this saving curve, this is SS curve or saving curve, the point where it intersects the investment curve, this point will be the equilibrium point. And when we draw a perpendicular from here, we can give it the name of M. So OM is the level of income and output. Income output we can write over here, and on OY axis we measure savings and investment. Savings and investment. On X axis we measure income and output. On OY axis we measure savings and investment. So it is clear from figure 2 as well that the economy will be in equilibrium where the savings intersect the investment, or where these two will becomes equals to each other. So this is the equilibrium condition which is required for being an equilibrium in the economy. S is equal to Y. This is the point where S is equal to I, and hence it is the required equilibrium condition. Now you can pause the video to note it down. So children, this is the schedule for understanding the determination of equilibrium of income and output. Both the approach can better be explained from this schedule only. Here in the first column we have taken the level of income starting from 0, 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000. Then the level of consumption. We know that this is the sum part of the consumption even at the 0 level of income, which is required for the subsistence. So this is 100. So 100 will becomes the C bar, or the autonomous consumption, the amount of consumption expenditure which is required at the 0 level of income. Then it keeps on increasing by 800. It means the MPC here is 0.8. The C bar is 100. MPC is 0.8. So definitely the MPS will be 0.2, because we know that the summation of MPC and MPS is equal to 1. So that is why there is an increase, constant increase in the level of consumption at each step. 800, 800, 800, 100 plus 800 becomes 900, then 900 plus 800 becomes 1700, and so on. Now how we calculate savings? Savings is equal to Y minus C. When we deduct the amount of consumption from the level of income, then we came to know the amount of savings. So savings will become 0 minus 100, it becomes minus 100. This is the part of dis saving. That is why I started the saving curve from the negative, from here only. This I start the saving curve from here only. That is why, because it is up to that level where the autonomous consumption is being started. So consumption curve is being started above the origin, and savings curve will be started below the origin, because this part denotes the dis saving, because up to this level the consumption is greater than income. You can see like this. Suppose this is the income curve Y and this is consumption. This one is break even point. So up to the break even point the consumption is greater than income. So this part is known as dis saving, and at this break even point the consumption exactly equals to income. So that is why saving is 0, and beyond that point the income becomes greater than consumption. Why this so? Because some part of the income is being kept as savings. That is why. So saving is being started from this point. When income is 1000, consumption is 900, savings will be 100, and so on. Investment, as we know in our course of study, we assumes that I is equal to I bar, or it is autonomous. Why it is autonomous? Because it is independent with the level of income. It doesn't change with the changing level of income. Please remember, investment also change. It has a periodic fluctuations, but there are some other factors by which investment change, like rate of interest, like availability of credit, right? So here investment remains constant or autonomous, 300, 300, 300. Now we simply calculate AD or aggregate demand. It is the summation of consumption and investment. Consumption is 100, investment is 300, so it becomes 400. Then 900 and investment is 300, it becomes 1200. Then 1700 and 300, it becomes 2000. Then 2500 and 300, it becomes 2800. Then 3300 and 300, it becomes 3600. Now you see the difference. The difference is nothing but at each stage there is a difference of 800. This is the rate of change in consumption, because here also at each stage we find the difference of 800 and 800. This is the MPC or B by which we denote it. So that is why the slope of consumption curve is parallel, or the slope of aggregate demand curve is parallel to the slope of consumption curve, because the rate of change is quite similar, because the both are changing with the MPC only. That is why. So similarly we can calculate AS after getting the summation of consumption and savings. Consumption is 100, saving is 100 minus 100. So what will be the aggregate supply? The aggregate supply will becomes 0. Then 900 C plus S, 900 and 100, it becomes 1000. Then 1700 and 300, it becomes 2000. Then 2500 and 500, it becomes 3000. Then 3300 and 700, it becomes 4000. Now what is the clear from the table? Dear students, you see that this is the level, this when income is 2000 or Y is equal to 2000, the aggregate demand is equal to 2000, aggregate supply is equal to 2000. We know that there is a condition of equilibrium when AD is equal to AS. This is the first approach. AD is nothing but it is the combination of consumption and investment. This is 2000. AS is nothing but the combination of consumption and saving. This is again 2000. Or AS can also be known as income, or Y. Y is again 2000 over here. So this is the first condition for equilibrium in the economy. Then second condition is also fulfilled, or second approach, you can see the savings and investment approach, both are equal to 300. So S is equal to Y also. This is the level only where S is equal to I and AD is equal to AS. So this is the equilibrium stage where the economy is in equilibrium. Now we see the case before this level and after this level. If we see before this level, the AD is greater than AS. Here you see AD is greater than AS, AD is greater than AS. What will be the situation? This is the first adjustment mechanism apply over here. Here AD is greater than AS. What does it mean? It means the consumers are planning to buy more than the producers are planning to produce. What will happen? There will be unplanned decumulation in the inventory of the firms. The producers will start producing more units till they will become equals. So they are producing more. First they were producing 1000, then economy will produce 2000 and it becomes equals to 2000, this AD. So economy will be in equilibrium. See the second condition, when the AD becomes less than AS. Now what will happen? Here there will be unplanned accumulation in the inventory of the firm. So the stock, unsold stock is piling up. So what will happen? The producers will cut their supply, they will cut their production. Up to which amount they will cut? They will cut up to which, where they will becomes again equal. So economy will again be in equilibrium. So this is the equilibrium point. So this we can better be understand with the help of this schedule, and we have also explained the tabular graphical presentation of AD and AS approach, savings and investment approach. Now I have explained the AD and AS approach and saving and investment approach, this with the help of this table. I hope you all will be understand. If you have any difficulty, please watch this video again and again and try to understand. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.